Oh, hey, boys. Hey. All right, guys. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So, Miss May I just released a Redux re-recorded version of Forgive and Forget, which was originally off their album Apologies Are for the Weak that came out back in 2009. Now they're planning to do a 15th anniversary edition of that album, completely re-recorded. So, I thought it would be a cool idea. We're going to watch the original Forgive and Forget and then watch the newly released version and compare and contrast. Part of the reason I wanted to do this was this album in particular is a quintessential metalcore album, in my opinion. If you watch my channel, I always allude to what I like to call the golden era of metalcore. Early 2000s, Parkway, August Burns Red, Killswitch, all those kinds of bands. And although Apologies Are for the Weak came out in 2009, I consider this album a part of that movement. What was really cool about that era was a lot of bands, both metalcore and deathcore, really blended the lines between each other. So I'll give you some examples. If you go listen to early Parkway, Killing with a Smile, Horizons, they had some moments that really went into the depths of deathcore. There's blood in the water. And then came back out. On the other side of that, you had bands like As Blood Runs Black. We'd all consider deathcore, but they were very melodic. And there seemed to be this flow between the two where bands could kind of just do whatever they wanted. And I thought that era in particular was a really good sound for metalcore. They were going past traditional metalcore, which is much more hardcore influenced, and injecting more mellow death into it. And Apologies Are for the Weak is not only the best Miss May I album, in my opinion, but it's one of the best metalcore albums of all time. I would put it in the top 10 quintessential metalcore albums. But they were a band, and with this album in particular, they really blended the line between what was deathcore and metalcore, in my opinion. Now, I consider them metalcore, and after they came out with Monuments and continued down the road, they definitely lean more into the metalcore aspects. But with Apologies Are for the Weak, they really could have gone either way after that. In fact, I think it would have been really interesting to see them lean more into the deathcore aspect. Another reason I wanted to do this is because it's been a while since I've listened to Apologies Are for the Weak. However, based on my memory, that album sounded phenomenal for its time. I'm sure I could go back, and now that I critique music as a hobby, I'd probably find some issues with it. But overall, especially for that time, you know, if we're comparing a lot of like screamo bands or post-hardcore bands and their access to recording tools, as much as I love that era, that there was a lot of stuff that sounded like straight up trash. This album wasn't one of those. For a debut album, it was perfect, if memory serves me correctly. It begs the question on whether I even think this album really needs a complete re-recording. I'm sure there's parts that could do with a little lift and oomph in the production, but from what I remember, it was pretty good. It was like a gold standard for recording at the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the original 2009 version of Forgive and Forget. Then we'll react to the new version and just compare and contrast. And then we'll go from there. And here we go.
For what had happened when the uranium atom split was a kind of double miracle of science.
Their drummer was something else, man. metalcore. You all rock out and sing. Change this video and say, Jesus Christ. This is having like concerns up in somebody's house. Did they have to bring in SWAT for a house party? Seems a bit much. They kidnapped the kid?
On man's wisdom, on his firmness in the use of that power, depends now the future of his children and his children's children in the new world of the atomic age.
Okay. Yeah, I totally missed whatever meta fucking thing they were trying to get across with that video. But that's early metalcore. It's a little bit cringe, but we exist within the cringe. We love the cringe. Anyways. So now that I'm looking at it, the 2024 version, so the new re-recorded version, does have a major difference in that it's featuring Fit for a King. I can't imagine they're using the whole band, so I'm just assuming it's Ryan Kirby throwing some vocals in there. We are getting some differences, so hopefully we'll see more of that on the new album. To talk about the original apologies for the week, yeah, I thought the recording was solid on that, man. Yeah, some things could definitely come up. The drums could hit a little harder, I think. The riffs could feel a little thicker, but not too much. Overall, like where his voice sat, I thought the mix was good. No complaints there. So unless maybe they don't change too much, we'll have to see, but maybe they're just bringing on a bunch of features, because that would be a really cool idea if they, you know, re-recorded with a bunch of new features and different artists. That would vindicate or make sense for them to re-record. But anyways, we're just gonna do Forgive and Forget, the new version. And it looks like this one is just a visualizer, potentially lyric video. Let's go. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. Guitars have definitely come up. There's a little more fidelity there. see how the cleans do. And there it is. Okay, so here's what I'll say. The addition of features and other artists such as Ryan Kirby was cool. We could definitely make out the difference between him and Levi. I believe his name is the lead singer of Miss May I. So that addition was cool. I enjoyed that aspect of it. The cleans did sound a little bit better, but to my understanding, it is a different singer than who they had originally for Apologies Are for the Weak. They stayed true to the original as far as how the cleans and the harsh vocals were delivered. I couldn't help but think though that the mix feels weird. It feels off to me. The vocal sat way back. I don't know if that was by design or because I noticed that there's a lot more fidelity in the top line guitar, and there was certainly parts like during the breakdown where it hit heavier than the original, but it almost felt too thick. Like there's too many layers in the new recording of this. I guess the best way to describe it is, and we're going to use summer, the heat of summer as the benchmark here, right? So you go to a very dry, arid place like Colorado in the summertime. You can still go outside and enjoy it. You're not killing yourself. In Texas, however, when you walk out in the summer to a fog of humidity that's so thick, it's just not enjoyable. It's just too much. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this. And it kind of goes back to why I was a little concerned they were even doing this in the first place, because again, I still think the original holds up. And we even have examples of where re-recordings do work. A good example of this is the band Reflections. Their debut album, The Fantasy Effect, was rough. Now, I have rose-tinted sunglasses, so I can still go back to and listen to it, enjoy it. But to hand that project over to Buster, allow him to work his magic with the Fantasy Effect, re-record on, I believe, 8 and 9 strings too, to kind of bring it up to date with what that band is currently doing. And it sounded incredible. They're doing everything in a way that makes sense, where, I don't know, this feels more kind of cash grabby, but I don't want to say that. Again, if they're going to take this redux of Apologies Are for the Weak They're going to add a bunch of features, do, stuff like that. That is adding to the experience for me. We're seeing this problem where people are just doing too much production. There's too many layers. You guys need to bring it back a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, it's just like a fog of, it's like being hit with a wall of sound. It's too many frequencies, like fighting for the space, and it's just a lot. However, I still think there's hope for this album. Again, if they're going to have a bunch of features, that alone brings it a lot of value. But having said all that, I don't think this was necessary. I still prefer the 2009 version, but I will hold my judgment until the full album releases and we'll check it out then. And I'm not trying to shit on Miss May I get it. Do your thing, boo. Take my critiques with a grain of salt. They don't mean shit. It's just my opinion. But whatever you do, just do not, for the love of God, take the original version of Apologies Are for the Weak from Spotify. Just let us have that. You release this, you do what you got to do. Cool. Personally, I'm going to go back and listen to the original. I will say on one final note, Forgive and Forget wasn't even really my favorite track off the album. So I'll hold judgment for things like the title track, A Dance with Era Kira, Porcelain Wings, and those tracks. I think it was Porcelain Wings. Am I misremembering? Whatever, fuck me. Anyways, guys, before I go, I'm excited to announce that I will officially start streaming. So if you follow me, there will be a community post each week kind of laying out my schedule. I'll try streaming like 2 days a week. And what's cool about that is on one of those days, if you guys want to hang out, you throw in some suggestions for me to react to, and I got you. The other day will be more chill. We'll just go over some albums, maybe do some reviews, just talk, about the scene, play video games, be a little more laid back. Look out for that community post. Also follow me on Instagram, link down in the description. And as always, thanks you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that nonsense. I love you. Have a good night.